Oh God. I am so tired. In general, not of Star Wars. I love Star Wars. And I love this show.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy. Shit. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Will, and this particular review will be slightly different. Not super different. I'm just trying to format change a little bit, try to make sure that I don't ramble for too long. This is still going to be a spoiler review for episode 3 of The Mandalorian, entitled The Convert. But this is a spoiler review for that particular episode, so I'm just going to be talking about a couple of things that happened in the episode and just giving my overall thoughts on where I think the story is going this season. I'm not going to try to break down every single thing in the episode. I tend to kind of forget things nowadays unless I write them down, and unfortunately, it has been a long week. I just watched it yesterday, but I was exhausted when I watched it, so you're going to get what's left over of my memory. Hopefully you do enjoy it, and if you happen to enjoy this hodgepodge of a video, and you're new here, I do a bunch of videos on YouTube. I do reviews and reactions and a whole bunch of other slew of different things on this channel, and trying to get back into a normal swing of things with it. But if you happen to enjoy this and any of my videos that you might partake in viewing, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. It would just help continue to make the channel even bigger than what it is. So let's talk about episode 3. So episode 3, entitled The Convert, it does kind of have two parallel stories happening at the same time. We pick up with Bo-Katan and Din Djarin after their adventures in the mines of Mandalore, with Bo-Katan still kind of shaken from her encounter with the Mythosaur, or I'm assuming it's the Mythosaur, in the living waters underneath Mandalore. Din was able to complete his trial.
You have to purify yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka.
He's redeemed, basically. They clarify that at the end of the episode. But that really kind of is just the tip of what the episode really focuses on, especially with the title, The Convert, where not only is Din trying to convert back to his ways of the Mandalorian, but also because of Bo-Katan also jumping in the water to save him, she technically has bathed in the waters as well, which is confirmed by the armorer toward the end of the episode. So she has also been accepted into this sect of Mandalorians, for good reason, considering the fact that her palace was blown up by a squadron of TIE interceptors and TIE bombers. Bo-Katan kind of alludes during the episode, at least during the dogfight that happens after they leave Mandalore, that it seems like there's a little bit more of a squadron and firepower for just an Imperial warlord. Because remember, the Empire is still scattered at this point. It's really just more remnants. But this in particular, along with the stuff we got with Moff Gideon in the first 2 seasons, seems like it's not just individual sects of Empire remnants. It seems like this is more of an organized front, especially if they're going after Bo-Katan to eliminate her. But she's able to escape with Din Djarin and reunite with the rest of the Mandalorians toward the end of the episode. It's very much alluding to, rather, is Moff Gideon still a threat, even though he was taken into New Republic custody. But we learn with some conversations in the middle of the episode that he is rather escaped or killed. It's kind of left to be seen, but there's also kind of a tease of who else might be the big bad of season 3. But the episode kind of pivots from the Din Djarin and Bo-Katan story at this point, and we go back to Coruscant, where we encounter Dr. Pen Pershing. If you remember, he's the Imperial scientist who we first were introduced to in episode 1 of The Mandalorian season 1, he was the one experimenting on Grogu, or wanted to experiment on him. And he was the one also working on perfecting cloning technology. But he is a part of an amnesty program now within the New Republic that is basically meant for former Imperial soldiers and scientists to try to convert to working for the New Republic. It's very similar to what, in real world terms, they did with, I think, a lot of German scientists and people after World War II to kind of reintegrate them into becoming productive members of society. But we've learned, and it's very reminiscent within this episode, you can take the Imperial out of the Empire, but you can't take the Empire out of the Imperial. We also get reintroduced to Elia Kane, who was an Imperial officer under Moff Gideon. They kind of reconnect in the Amnesty housing, and they go on a little adventure, which is very sketchy because their interactions and the little subtleties that Kane is kind of dropping onto Pershing is very much manipulative, and it's kind of more of a setup. She does set him up to take the fall for trying to obtain some Imperial research equipment when they go to like the old shipping yard to try to obtain some tech that he can continue his research, because she, over the course of the episode, really kind of puts it in his head that, you know, you shouldn't give up on your dreams, even though you're kind of doing this whole thing with the New Republic, because the New Republic might really like what you're doing, which was kind of bullshit. Inevitably leads to Pershing having to go back under rehabilitation, which also sounds kind of dark when you kind of compare what the Empire was using the technology for with what the New Republic is using the technology for to try to rehabilitate Imperial soldiers. It's an interesting way to look at the similarities and differences of what the Empire was to what the New Republic is, and also how those flaws inevitably led to the rise of the First Order. It also leads to Kane assassinating Pershing, at least wiping his mind, because they use a technology called the Mind Flare, which is very reminiscent of D&D. She uses it, and basically once everybody else is clear from the room, she kind of cranks it all the way up and seemingly kills him. I'm not 100% sure. She is definitely more of like a double agent, more of a plant sent there to, I guess, take care of Pershing or to silence him for the most part, or maybe silence other Imperial remnants who might be causing issues, or who could cause issues for whoever our potential big bad for the season is. So it definitely leads more questions about what her role is and who she's working for, because I believe she was under Moff Gideon originally. And this episode definitely took a lot of cues in terms of like its style, especially the middle portion of it, very reminiscent of what we got with Andor, where it was definitely more of like a Rogue One-ish type feel. It wasn't focused on the overarching story, but it did have a lot of important bits and a lot of character development and manipulation, and just how it just had more of an espionage style to it. So it's very cool that they're able to blend these different styles kind of seamlessly within these episodes, and how, I guess, Coruscant, it just works well for that sort of style, that espionage style. It's not like when they're out in the galaxy on different planets, where you can play off of your adventure side, or even like your Western side, what we got with like stuff on Tatooine. So it's like each planet has their own sort of vibe, and it's really cool that they can blend those things very seamlessly together within the episode. So those were like some of the major points, and like I said, at the end of the episode, really, we got back on Bo-Katan and Din Djarin once they arrived and are able to prove that Din bathed in the waters and he is re-accepted into the group of Mandalorian. I know there's a specific name for it, but he's re-accepted into that group. But also, since Bo-Katan at this point has not removed her helmet, and she also bathed in it, they consider her also redeemed and now a convert back into their organization. It all comes full circle.
Again, it's like poetry, so if they rhyme.
It'll be interesting to see how long she sort of sticks around, because they say she's free to leave whenever she wants, but at least for right now, she's more than welcome to be with them. And everyone's like super accepting, because like less than 2 minutes prior to that, everybody was ready to like shoot them both up. But the second they get that proof, it's like, okay, we're cool. That's a little creepy, but
Just half a second. What the fuck?
But considering where Bo-Katan is at this point in time, and with her experience in the living waters, seeing the mythosaur, and now having some support again, I'm curious to see how long she sticks around for, because she is very much against the rigidness of this side of the Mandalorians. But where she was at the beginning of the season, she wasn't in the best spot. Everybody, all of her crew are gone. They just without the Darksaber, they didn't want anything to do with her anymore. She couldn't lead them. But now she has at least some support, albeit temporarily, but she has support as long as she abides by the rigidness of the Kree. And also, where do we go with Din Djarin at this point? I mean, he's also kind of completed his season-long mission. Technically, he's been redeemed. He got back into the good graces. He has the Darksaber, but he's not technically leader. The Armorer is technically the leader of this sect, and it's kind of a weird place for him to be at this point, because it's like, well, what else are you going to do this season, dude? Like, are you just going to tag along with Bo-Katan? Sure, I love seeing Katie Sackhoff. It's just interesting to see, because we're already at the 3rd episode, and some of the things have already been kind of resolved. So I'm assuming whatever looming Imperial threat there is probably going to take up the rest of the season, which would lead me to think it's rather one of two people. Moff Gideon, played by Giancarlo Esposito, I'd love to see him again. He was fantastic. It'd be interesting to see if they go back to Moff Gideon, because of course he has the bone to pick with Mando and with Bo-Katan for that matter. So it would kind of make sense why they would go on a bombing run of her entire palace and also try to kill her. So it would make total sense that that's where you're going with the story. The other option is that they could finally introduce Grand Admiral Thrawn, who we've been rumored to potentially see in live action, especially with the Ahsoka series coming up pretty soon, where his story ties very much into Ezra Bridger and Sabine Wren, who were all from Star Wars Rebels, because that final season included him. So it's very likely that they could also use this as a way of introducing Thrawn and making him much more of a bigger threat, not only for The Mandalorian, especially if we're getting a season 4, but also for the Ahsoka series, because they've always rumored that they're going to start crossing over the series, and they did it with the Book of Boba Fett to a lesser successful degree, in my opinion, but they did that, and they're all in the same time period. It makes the most sense. That's basically where the episode wraps up. It doesn't really leave us with a cliffhanger for the next episode like it did with episode 2. The focus of the episode was really on these 2 Imperial remnants, Dr. Pershing and the former Commander Kane, and what exactly the amnesty program is. How are they reintroducing people who were Imperial back into society, but also how that indirectly led to the formation of the First Order. I did enjoy the episode. I thought it was a good episode. It definitely gave off more espionage Andor vibes, which is not a bad thing. And it's a nice different flavor that you can incorporate mixed in with the whole galaxy hopping adventure side of it, the bounty hunter side of it, the Force side of it when you talk about Grogu and stuff like that. So it's a very interesting way how this series hodgepodges all the different aspects of the Star Wars universe. And that's probably one reason why it is so successful too. Really solid episode, episode 3. I think there's like 6, or it might be 8 episodes this season. I have to look it up. But I'll try to keep up with the reviews as best as possible. So just make sure you subscribe to stay informed when I post new videos. So that is going to do it for the spoiler review of episode 3 of The Mandalorian. Let me know any thoughts that you have on the episode in the comments down below. Let me know anything I might have missed or that you would love to hear my thoughts on, because I do read the comments. As always, thank you so much for checking out this and all my videos. I really do appreciate it. I said it was going to be a different flair to the previous reviews, but apparently it's the same. Whatever. Yeah, I try. I'm going to try. We'll see what happens. But if you did enjoy this video, please subscribe to the channel. It would really help me out. I've got a ton of videos on here that you're more than welcome to check out. You can follow me on a lot of different social media platforms listed at the end of this video. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. As always, until next time, I'm going to get some sleep. May the Force be with you, and I will catch you later. Bye. Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you did like this video, why not give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends? You can subscribe to the channel by clicking on my gorgeous little face right over there. You can follow me on all the various social media platforms right below. And last but certainly not least, if you've got a few extra minutes, why not check out one of the lovely videos floating right over here. Later.